What's up, boys, girls, and everything in between? It's Raptor Patton again, coming at you with some more of this Starcraft madness. Yeah, let's get another cannon. Let's put one there. I think we should be safe on that edge of the battlefield for a bit. Alright. So, how's everybody's day going? Anything interesting going on? Anything exciting? Nothing? That's fine. Anyway, so, I was, let's see, what have I been thinking about lately, though? What's on my mind? Well, one thing that I do find as interesting is, it seems in the modern world, we create things for which money exists. Say, for example, YouTube. Like, people get paid to be on YouTube, and yet they don't actually create any value. Does that make sense? Nobody's paying for anything that people on YouTube do. Except everybody is. But I'm not. Like for example, I watch YouTube for free. It's got ads, sure, but it's free. Pretty much. And so it's interesting that I am not paying any money to watch a YouTube video, and yet people are getting paid to be on YouTube. It's kind of interesting, and if you think about it, I don't have enough minerals, fuck off. If you think about it, that's kind of becoming a common trend, isn't it? Businesses with no actual value or production are still getting money. Like, for example, you have... hell, what's it called? Uber. Uber, there's money going, but they have no drivers. There are no technical, like, employees, you know what I mean? And then, you've got Airbnbs. No actual employees. No set value being produced. And yet it still costs some people money. It kind of ties into that, like, creating value where there is none. Seems to be like a trend. Also, what am I doing in this mission? Oh, I just... killing Zerg, alright. That's easy enough. You're the damaged dude. Let's get a couple more of them out. I think this force is pretty well equipped for most challenges. I think it's a good combined arms force that can deal with both air and ground targets pretty effectively. So that's cool. So now we've got this that could potentially be a base here in the next little while. We've cleared it, so there's that. I think that we have enough resource production that we could probably, we could probably build a second gateway and begin having larger amounts of troops being deployed at any one time. Let's see here. You guys go over here real quick. I just want to explore this. So, but in essence, it's really interesting that now we have businesses that are based on a non-traditional business model. Now, do I think that that's sustainable? Not at all. I think it is a way for capitalism to keep up, to prop up an economy, in an economy where people aren't making enough money to be able to purchase the things that were previously more available or easy to acquire for just the average person. And so without having any of these overhead costs, these businesses can therefore charge less for all of their products and services, while at the same time making enough money. It's like they're cutting out more and more middlemen until there won't be more jobs. Things are going to tank eventually. You can't keep an economy running when there is no value being produced. Now, of course, there's still value being produced in our economy. That's just entirely without question. There's plenty of actual piss off. Build a bunch of pylons. But without these places producing this value, where are the jobs? Where are people making living wages from something like an Airbnb or renting out a home? Like renting out your own home to other people. It's just odd that there's these businesses that don't have to rely on that traditional model. It seems like something that to me is unsustainable. That's just not going to work forever. It's a stopgap method. It's a stopgap method to keep an economy running when the economy is tanking. It's just reinforcing the and scouts are expensive. It's reinforcing the internal contradictions of our economic system. There are these. Nope. Okay, we're gonna attack these guys here shortly. Oh my goodness gracious! Come on! I'm already trying to get as many minerals as I can. Anyway, so it's just interesting to me. It's something that could certainly be debated a lot. Like I'm not about to say that I am the analyst to end all analysts, like that I in particular know what I'm talking about, because I don't. Just a person. It just seems like that system is not going to be able to solve its own problems. It's the same thing as making an economy run off of debt, the acquisition and holding of debt, interest rates, credit, things like that. Monetary systems that don't actually hold value. Does that make sense? That credit doesn't exist. There's no production. There's no steel backing it up. There's none of that going on. It's just it to me is a system that is failing to solve its internal contradictions and is therefore almost going insane. It's like a system that cannot function as it is. Come on. Get up there. I did that backwards. Now, could we try this? Okay, if we can take that out, then these guys can advance and bear the brunt of the rest of the offensive, at least for a bit. See, there we go. Alright, that worked out as a good little battle plan, I would say. Let's keep up the pressure, shall we? Damn it. Did you destroy it already? Alright, so... but economies are not a simple thing. I think a lot of people speak of economies, nations, military policies, law, things like that in far too simple terms. As if these are things that are just simply understood or simply passed or like how a government runs things, how these policies affect the other areas of a nation's laws, their understanding of the world, their culture, their economic statutes and statuses, what can be produced, why it's produced, how resources and trade affect this whole thing. It's not simple. To say that an economy or a government is a simple system is erroneous. A lot of people seem to believe that, oh, less government means better world. I'm not sure how exactly. I'm not saying that a lot of government is good. I'm just saying, in that way, how do you think that a nation confronts and then solves its issues? It's through complexity. That's just how a civilization handles itself. It handles itself through finding a problem, confronting the problem, solving it in some way with another department, with more maintenance, with higher taxes, with lower taxes. A country that is efficient and has its conditions in place is going to have to confront a lot of issues. You're just going to. That's how a country works. That's how a civilization works. You want a sewage system? Well, then you need to build the sewage system. It's going to cost money, and then you're going to need people to watch and maintain the sewage system. It has to keep functioning as intended. And therefore that's more money. However, if a country is prosperous, then taxes don't necessarily need to be raised all the time when there's a lot of product and services being brought into the country to be able to handle its issues. That's just civilization in a nutshell. That's the simplest thing in the world to understand. And a lot of people seem to think that by eliminating as much as possible that the government does, that somehow, magically, that's going to solve our economic and cultural and legal issues. I fail to follow. If we've got a sewage system and departments in the government for handling sewage, and we need to have that sewage taken care of, and we need to have... So it must... Okay. What do we got over here? If you have a nation that's like, hey, we have to provide for our defense. Okay, then you need a Department of War, or Department of Defense, or Department of the Army, or whatever your nation may call it. And that's going to require people to maintain it. That's going to require professionals and training and infrastructure to maintain that, something which is agreed upon a nation needs. In a lot of cases. Not every nation needs it. Iceland doesn't need much of a military, for example. But these are the systems that are in place within a country for a reason. We don't have these departments for nothing. There is a reason why they were founded and why they were set up in the first place, and why we continue to put forth money towards them. But a country that is able to produce enough, that is able to have enough trade and enough alliances, that is able to secure its resources and use them efficiently for the good of its civilization, does not need to have high taxes to manage anything. That's simply not required. One needn't believe that by collapsing entire societal systems, that therefore the society would become better. That's not how a society works, is it? I don't think so. Not in what I've seen. To me, a society has its different processes and its different jobs and management styles that have purpose. These systems aren't there for nothing. There was a need, and the need has been addressed simply by having. Oh man, they are dying real quick. Man, but I think we're finally taking them out. But yeah, societies have to have things in order to function. You can't just have an economy in a vacuum. That's not how an economy works. It's one of the most absurd things I've ever heard, that people think that just by collapsing societal functions and governmental oversight in anything, that then magically your civilization is going to flourish. It's never been that way. That is not how civilization, a nation state, a group of people, a tribe, anything has ever functioned. There needs to be oversight, and there needs to be handlers and those who can analyze and understand an ever-changing situation and world. That's why we have governments. That's why we have cabinets. That's why we have departments. That's why we have a military. That's why we have any number of things. They all serve a function within civilization. So, just seems like a lot of people hate the government for doing government things, which is... I don't get it, but again, I don't know everything. Just a couple little thoughts I have had of late. In effect. You don't have a hydraulic den any longer? At least I don't think you do. Why are you building hydralusks? Now you should only be able to build drones. Oh, there's another hydralisk. Well, anyway, I think we have finally defeated the Zerg. Oh, we're under attack. Ain't that some shit. Alright, I think this has been a pretty long video, but I hope you guys, it says there's only 3 minutes long. Alright, any of you get the 3-minute vibe from that whole thing? Shut up. Phoenix gets fucked up. That's what happens there. Alright, so I think that's going to call it for today. I hope you all enjoyed yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!